of my trip. Like the whole trip, as we've all been saying, is just like very different, overwhelming. Like it's a whirlwind. You only have so long to be there. But one of the best days I had while I was there, I'll share that story. My birthday was within like the first week that we got there, and I was turning 19 and I'm a baby. It's fine. And like I didn't know anyone on my program. They were all UNC students, but I'd never met any of them. We were all strangers to each other. And yet when we were traveling as a class, we were going to Granada, which is another city in the southern region of Spain. And so it was my birthday and we were traveling and we walked around the city as a group and we took a tour to like the top of the city where you had like a great view of this castle that's there. And like all of these kids on my trip were just like so nice and somehow they all knew it was my birthday. And so like once we get to the hotel, like we're allowed to walk around and all of that. We go to a small church and we get back and like these kids next door, like they come bring me this balloon and they get everyone to sing happy birthday because all of the rooms like face out the pool. So everyone was on their patios and they all sang happy birthday to me. And that was really cute. And then later we all went out and we got churros with chocolate. That was my first time. And then I had like my first like legal drink because in Spain it's legal for me to drink. And like it was just a really fun night. Like everyone went out and celebrated with me and like they got me a balloon and like it was just so nice to see that everyone like came together like that. And that was just one of my best days there, I think.
Do we have more questions?
We have a lot.
We have a lot of questions. Okay.
All right.
Yes, we have a lot of them. Okay, I'm going back down to let's see. How did your time abroad change your view of American culture?
How did your time abroad change your view of American culture? Changed it a lot, I think. Spain is very different in terms of culture. It's like a slow paced kind of country, very informal, very relaxed. They take naps every day, and I still can't break that habit. And it's not good for me. In America, in the United States, like I can't take a nap every day because I have class. But after lunch, like everyone takes a nap. And so after lunch, every day on the dot, I'm like, time for me to take my nap. But no, I can't. But yeah, American culture just seemed so much more fast-paced when I got back because Spain is very slow. Like no one's ever really that on time, like, and no one's bothered by that. And I'm a very timely person, so it was different having to try and relax those standards and be in a different place.
Yeah, that's about the same for me. Brazil was a very relaxed place. It wasn't quite as fast-paced as America. I remember I was running late to work one day. I ran like a mile just to make it on time. They're like, they just asked me, why are you so out of breath? I was running late. Oh, don't worry about it next time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I got back to America and everything kind of sped up. But I definitely started to relax more. I didn't take out my cell phone all the time, just because it wasn't needed. Like when I was living in Brazil, people rarely took out their cell phone unless they were like actually getting a call.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of brought that back here in the US. I don't check my phone nearly as much as I used to.
That's weird. So for me, like being in Thailand was weird because like American culture, like we're a fairly young country. It's like however many hundreds of years. Thailand goes back like so much farther. And so like their culture, they just have, I don't want to say like they have more culture than us, but like it's just, it goes back so much farther and it's almost more cohesive.
It's more developed.
Yeah. And so sort of living in that was really cool. There's so much to explore and kind of learn about. Whereas here, I feel like we're more sort of different than the church. Not always the same where you go. So that was difficult. I don't know. That was cool.
Yeah, like Spain is similar because it's been around so long. Like since before the Vikings, it's had people there, and its culture is just really diverse because it was like conquered by Muslims at one point in its history. Like Arabic people like came in and invaded, and so like you see a lot of that kind of architecture and development, and then the Catholics like came back and like fought all these wars. So it's just like very different to see, and you kind of go in thinking, oh, they're all going to be like Catholic, like very religious, and they're really not. Like they're very chill. My host family wasn't religious, and it's just you expect them all to be the same, and they kind of are at heart. Like they all have the Spanish feeling, but they're all different in like personality, and if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
See, like you see Buddhism everywhere with Thailand, and I kind of assumed the same thing. Everyone would be this like devout Buddhist, and they would know all about it. And so I like kind of studied up on the religion before I went. And I figured out, like, when I arrived, I knew more about Buddhism than most of my like Thai classmates, because they just didn't bother with it. It wasn't a part of their daily life.
Yeah, exactly.
And so just you can't always assume that like every single person in the country is going to follow like what you learned about in class or see in a movie or something.
Yeah,
That was neat.
definitely stereotyped, and I was proven wrong. So don't really do that.
Cool.
Yeah. I went into Brazil actually not knowing very much. So I didn't really have too many stereotypes to go on. But as far as my experience, everyone was really different. I kind of went in there not knowing what to think, but everyone had like a different personality as far as different values. We went. My advice: just keep an open mind whenever you travel.
Yeah, for sure.
So more questions?
Yes, we have a lot.
Okay, great.
So glad
so
everyone's
real quick,
interested.
how long did you stay in your countries, and how did you get to your particular host country?
Okay, how long did you stay in your countries, and how did you get there?
So like I said, I was there for 7 months. I left just after the New Year on like January 2nd of this year, and I stayed all the way until like the second week of August. And I got there via like 3 different airplanes, and then we were picked up by our Thai classmates in a taxi, and they took us to our apartments.
Wow.
Yeah, so I lived in Brazil for 3 months. I was there during the entire World Cup, the last World Cup in 2014. I got there by 2 planes and 2 buses. So I was traveling for a good solid 20 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, I was there for 3 months / 12 weeks / 80 days. I counted. I wrote a blog post about it. And I got there, flew from RDU to JFK to Madrid to Sevilla. So I had quite a few flights. And then once I got to Sevilla, I took a cab with some other UNC students who I just like found in the airport. And we all took a cab to the hotel that we had to stay at the first night as a group for our orientation kind of thing. And then we were putting cabs with our roommates to take us to our host families the next day.
Okay, next question. What was the nicest luxury you encountered in your host country?
What was the nicest luxury you encountered in your host country?
Luxury.
So
sort of towards the end of my trip, my mom actually came and visited me.
Oh.
And so she only had like a week in the country. She wanted to like really see it. And so there's this really nice hotel on the water right in downtown Bangkok, the Mandarin Oriental. And so they offer this service where like you can do dinner in like a traditional Thai show.
Oh, wow.
So like while you're eating, they'll have like live dancers right next to your table. There's like 5 other tables in the room. So it's a really personal, cool thing. And so we were all dressed up. We got to the restaurant. They take you in like a boat from the hotel dock, like across the river to this old theater.
Dang.
And then serve you like this 5-course, like traditional Thai meal. And you see the dancers. It was really cool.
That's so cool.
I didn't have too many luxuries living in Brazil. Like I didn't have air conditioning. I didn't even have glass.
Same.
I didn't even have glass windows to keep mosquitoes out.
Gosh.
But I do really appreciate the family barbecues I was always invited to.
Yeah.
We would take like an entire afternoon off pretty much, and we would just cook like an entire animal. Like the family would just buy like an entire pig and like cook that entire pig, and it was one of my favorite things to do. Was just like doing the family afternoon barbecues.
That's cool.
And just be invited, considering I'm a foreigner and like they had just met me. It was really great that they were willing to invite me.
Yeah, like everyone's so inviting, I think. So yeah, besides the food, which was delicious, I would say that being able to travel really easily in Europe and like very cheaply was really nice. Like I got to go to 2 other countries and I traveled a lot within Spain. And then also like the architecture and the history is just so different from here. Like because you can see the history it has and the architecture is just beautiful and so deep. I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
Did you grow any types of food in your countries?
Did you grow any types of food in your countries?
So like I didn't personally grow any types of food, but what did the countries we were in grow is maybe the question.
Yeah.
So Thailand is like the first or second producer of rice in the entire world.
Oh.
Like a huge, I think about 3/4 of the like land being used for agriculture there is white rice.
Wow.
And so I did actually get to visit one of those paddies, one of the older versions where they're still using like buffalo to plow the land and they flood it and then the rice can be planted like with your hand.
Okay.
So that was really cool. where you guys were going?
Yeah, I didn't personally grow anything in Brazil while I was there. I did meet a few family that had like in-home gardens. Like they had like a specific part of their house like that was like made into a garden inside, and they had like a little skylight.
Yeah.
So they got like light that would come in. But I do know Brazil grew a lot of fruits. It was probably the best fruit ever because it was always really fresh every day.
Yeah.
I really miss it. You can't get it here in the U.S.
I forgot about that. Yeah, one of my friends, one of my Thai friends there, his parents owned like a banana plantation. Again, like 2 hours outside of like downtown Bangkok is a banana plantation. So
That's really cool. Yeah, my host mom probably had some like herbs in her little covered deck. I didn't grow anything myself. But Spain, as I said before, is known for its olive oil. Like, for whatever reason, I thought Greece was, like, the producer of olive oil, but Spain has the best olive oil, and it's one of the main producers in the world of it. And so that was just, like, amazing. You know, you can know that you're going to have good olive oil before you go to Spain, because there it just is so fresh and, like, vibrant tasty. And they also, I don't know if anyone likes sunflowers. Like, sunflowers are one of my favorite flowers, and some people eat the seeds and stuff. And so, like, driving around the countryside, you see all the olive fields and the sunflower fields. Like, it's beautiful, but then they cut all the sunflowers, harvest the seeds, or they send the sunflowers to other countries for people to buy them, which was just, like, very unexpected, you know?
Gotcha.
Sunflowers.
Right.
Next one is, what would you say is the greatest thing you learned about yourselves from your journey?
Ooh, what is the greatest thing you think you learned about yourself during your journey? So deep.
That is a deep question.
let's see.
I think that, I don't know, I knew I was an independent person before. Like, I've always been an independent person. But after traveling by myself, after being there knowing no one and, like, having to speak another language, you feel so much more confident in yourself. Like, I just walk around a little bit taller here. Like, I know something, you know? I know something.
Yeah, I would say that's about the same for me. Like, I think after I got back from Brazil, I actually considered myself an adult. Like, I don't know. Like, I know for the high schoolers, you'll kind of understand, like, you're still, like, considered a kid. Like, you might not ever view yourself as an adult. Like, I rarely considered myself one. But, like, I came back from Brazil and, like, I felt like an adult. Like, I was a teacher, and the kids didn't see me as, like, another kid. They saw me as an adult. Which I thought was, like, a really interesting experience because, like, I had never, like, been viewed as an adult because I'm either with my peers or, like, you know, my friends, and we all just consider each other, like, we don't like, you're an adult. Or something like that. We just see each other as, like, our friends, or I'm with my parents and they just see me as a kid or something.
Yeah.
But, like, I came back really just looking at myself more as an adult.
Yeah, it's the same. Like, in Spain, you're considered an adult when you're 18.
Yeah.
Like, you get your driver's license, you can drink alcohol, you can vote, like, you can do everything when you're 18. So I was 19 at that point, and they were like, you're an adult. You call everyone by their first names. At that point, like, you're a member of the community, and that you can just really feel it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, even on campus here, like, my parents still paid the bills at college. And, like, we go to class every day like we did, like I said, in high school. But abroad, like, I was responsible, like, for everything. I had to pay rent at my apartment. I had to go buy food for myself. If I wanted to go somewhere, like, my mom didn't buy the tickets, I had to go online, buy an airplane ticket, figure out how to get to the airport by myself, decide, like, book hotels by myself. So that was really cool. And also that, like, I kind of discovered I, like, got addicted to travel while I was there. Because you said, like, it was really, like, flying in Southeast Asia, you can get plane tickets for, like, $30. It was super cheap. And so I only had class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so, like, twice a month, like, Wednesday after class, we'd take a taxi to the airport. And we'd go, I went to Vietnam, to Myanmar, to Cambodia, all over Thailand. And it was, like, towards the end, it was kind of exhausting. Like, we were kind of ready to, like, take a break. But now I really miss it. And it makes me want to sort of explore more, like, the U.S. that I haven't seen.
Yeah, for sure.
That was cool.
Okay, we've got about 8 minutes left and about 8 questions.
Okay, so rapid fire
next
questions.
Next one is, what lessons can the U.S. learn from the transportation systems in your host countries?
What lessons can the U.S. learn from the transportation systems in our countries?
What is relevance? That's good. Okay. Let's see. So I was there studying environmental science, and so this is kind of pertains to what I was doing there. We're studying energy and how to save it for the future and use less of it to be more sustainable. And I think the United States can move a lot farther ahead if we embraced a better bus system, better train system. It uses so much less energy than every single person having their own car.
Yeah.
Like, it seems ridiculous now being back that we actually do that here.
Yeah. I would have to say the same thing. Even like when I took like the buses, like the real large buses that like travel from one state to another in Brazil. What was interesting that they stopped in like these rural towns that like, you know, I've never taken a bus here, but I would imagine they don't really stop at like the really small towns.
Yeah.
But we would stop by the small town, like that didn't even have a bus station. They would just get dropped off on the side of the road or like picked up on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Europe is very like condensed. Everything is in one small area, and so that was really nice for Sevilla because I could walk everywhere. It would take me a long time, but I could. And one of the other cool things that they had, there are huge bike lanes on both sides of the sidewalk. And so people ride their bikes everywhere, like take mopeds.
Yeah.
There were cars, but I think the United States could really like try and do that and make our cities like more walkable so we can exercise and like bikeable and all of that, because we have bike lanes, but Chapel Hill is kind of spread out. Like I can't walk from here to like downtown Chapel Hill, like by the 15501. Like I can't do that.
Yeah.
So if we made our cities like walkable, I think that would be something great to learn.
Cool. All right. Do you have another question? Go fast.
Okay.
Is there a Target store, and what stores and shops are there, and how big is the city?
Is there a Target store, and what kind of stores or shops are there? No.
Yeah. Bangkok did not have Target. We had something, well, actually, I'll start with like what Western stores they did have. So It's kind of funny. They had 7-Eleven everywhere in Bangkok. There was like, if you went to like the end of my street, you could see 3 7-Elevens from standing in one spot. It was insane. Because everyone used them. Like you could pay your electricity bill there.
Huh.
You got your cell phones from 7-Eleven. You could get easy like snacks in the morning for food. Really weird. They also had like McDonald's was everywhere.
Yeah.
Not in my
Burger
neighborhood,
King.
but like downtown.
Burger King.
And they had like Thai versions of McDonald's food and stuff. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. There was no Target in Brazil. They had a lot of fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, that apparently the natives really liked. I didn't. It was overpriced, and I get that in America. But they had a lot of like individual like Brazil shopping malls where you could just go buy clothes, hang out, buy smoothies, just nice little hangout places. Not a lot of like American brand stores like Walmart, Target.
Yeah, no, I basically only saw like Burger King and McDonald's, weirdly enough, and like no one really ate there, they would, I don't know. But the Spanish like store that would be comparable to Target or Walmart is called El Corte Inglés, and it's just like a huge department store. And I went in the one in Sevilla, and it has like 6 floors, and it's just giant and really cool. And you can buy like anything there: clothes, food, kitchen utensils, like anything.
5 questions left. We have 5 minutes.
All right, great.
Did you have any issues with exchanging currency or understanding the change in value of the dollar?
Did you have any issues exchanging currency or understanding the exchange rate between the currencies?
Cool. So in Thailand, they use baht, B-A-H-T, and the exchange rate is for about $1, you get 30 baht.
Wow.
And so they were really these like colorful little bills and coins. I didn't really use my like debit card anywhere. I'd pretty much go to the ATM like once a month and withdraw like the maximum I could get out, and then I would use baht. And I got pretty good at converting. Like dividing by 30 was kind of weird, but you just kind of round up 100 bahts, like $3-ish, stuff like that.
In Brazil they use their currency is called real for singular and reais for plural. And it's about like, so $1 US is equivalent to like 2.5 reais. It was pretty easy conversion. I just, I would just divide everything by 2.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that hard of a conversion. I picked up on it pretty quick. They do have like a lot of coins. Like in the U.S., you know how like we have like $1 bills? Their $1 are represented by like a coin.
Yes.
And then they have $2 bills.
Coins are so nice. Now they have $2, €2 coins too. Like those are your best friends. I loved them. Spain uses the euro like most of the European Union, and the exchange rate was like so good when I was there. It was $1 for I think 1.2 euro, which is the best it's been in a while. So I was really lucky to be there at that time.
Okay, this is a 3-part question.
Okay.
Okay.
And everyone, they would like to know your ages.
Okay.
So do your ages. And then, do people care about what they wear and their appearance? Do they have the same technology, like smartphones, iPhones? And what was your absolute favorite thing to do?
Okay.
I'm 19.
Okay. I'm 21, but I was 19 when I traveled to Brazil.
Cool. I turned 20 while I was in Bangkok. Like my second week there, I turned 20.
And then how do people like care about their appearances and like how do they dress in terms of that?
Yeah. It's funny, like when you were in my neighborhood outside the city, people wear like whatever. I saw like crazy stuff. They didn't really care about their appearance. But when you went downtown to like the wealthier areas or like the big shopping mall, people were super well dressed. They were really stylish and they made a big deal about it.
Yeah, same thing in Brazil. I think it kind of depended on the area you were in. I know when people were in their own homes, they didn't really care what they looked like. But I do know whenever we went out in public, people did look decent. They put on a pair of pants, a nice shirt. Just because appearance is pretty important to them. But
in Spain, like you first of all don't wear shorts. Like you can wear skirts, dresses, or pants, but no one wears shorts. So I stood out because I was like, no, it's hot. I'm not wearing my shorts. I'm sorry. But they do care about their appearance. Like people, you don't walk around in exercise clothes. That's not a thing that's done there ever. So everyone's wearing like nice looking clothes just because that's how it's done.
Okay.
Technology, right. What is the technology used and how's it similar?
Yeah, Thailand, all of my friends had smartphones there. They all had laptops. They were on the same websites I used to the United States, YouTube, Facebook. It was just like when you logged in from like a Thai network, all the characters were in Thai, and you had to like go to Facebook and tell it to go back to English. But they were totally adept. They were using the same things I was pretty much, if not like used their smartphones more than I did here.
So Brazil had all the same technology that we had, but it was a lot more expensive, so not everyone could afford it. So a smartphone there is about 3 times as much it would be here. So not many people actually owned a smartphone. Again, it was like considered like another luxury, like owning a car. And the internet wasn't that great there. It really sucked. Very rarely could I get fast internet anywhere in Brazil.
They have very similar technology in Spain. They don't really have iPhones though, because Apple's very expensive there. So everyone has like Androids, which is pretty much the same. My host mom actually had an iPad, and I like thinking back on it, I feel like that was probably a pretty nice gift that she would have gotten from her sons for like a birthday or something. She loved that iPad. We had like TVs and stuff, and the Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi, you used in your house, and some restaurants would have it, but it was not free. Like you couldn't find it on the streets for free. You'd have to pay for passwords. But one of my host brothers and I follow each other on Instagram, which is fun.
That's awesome.
I think you guys basically covered what was your favorite thing to do there. So let's move on. The last question was, do you feel that young people in your host country are more responsible than young Americans?
Okay. Do you feel that young people in your country are more responsible than young Americans?
I'd say young Thai people are definitely more independent than young Americans. Like I said, I saw at middle school levels taking public buses by themselves, taking trains to school, buying themselves lunch on the street and stuff without their parents there. And I'd say they maybe like grow up faster. I don't know if they're more responsible with their homework and stuff, but I think they're more independent for sure.
I think it kind of depends with Brazil, depending on what kind of family you came from. Because I met like a lot of students who were like my age who were living on their own, but a lot of their parents were like paying all the bills. So I think it kind of depends. I don't think they were more responsible than I was. They pretty much acted the same I did. They went to school every day. They had fun when they could. That was pretty much it. I think it would be about the same.
I would agree that they're definitely more independent in Spain. They go to school by themselves for the most part, unless they're like really young, obviously. And their parents, like I would see like 14-year-olds out late at night, like hanging out, and they just travel around the city by themselves. And they pretty much are allowed to like travel wherever they want alone at the age of 16, like to other parts of the country, other parts of the world. So they're more independent. if we're more responsible is left to be seen, but yeah.
I think we're almost out of time.
Yes.
We are.
Okay, well, we got
Okay.
through all the questions.
Yes.
Great.
Cool. All right. Well, it was great talking to you guys. I hope we inspired you to travel abroad one day. You definitely should.
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing I did at UNC. It was fun to apply a lot.
Yeah, we really hope that you just kind of think about the United States and our culture and how it could compare to other countries and their cultures, and like think about maybe going abroad.
Yeah.
And the last thing, I would like you to say hello in the target language.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
end with that, or you can say goodbye.
Hello or goodbye.
Yeah.
Hola is hello, and then adios is goodbye.
Oi is hello in Portuguese, and ciao is goodbye.
Cool. Swati Cup is hello in Thai, and Yindi Ti Daruchak is nice to meet you.
You win.
You win now.
All right. Well, thank
Cool.
you so much.
Later,
Yeah.
guys.
Bye.
Show yourself.
Okay, you guys.